Hi folks, how we doing? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Dave Wildheart, and this week we'll be exploring the topic of entertainers. And specifically, I'm going to be trying to answer three main questions. Firstly, where have all the entertainers gone? Secondly, why doesn't this type of entertainer exist anymore? And thirdly, who are today's current musical entertainers? But first, what do I mean by entertainer? So an entertainer is somebody who performs or engages in activities designed to captivate an audience, amuse an audience, or just to bring enjoyment to an audience. Of course, comedians, actors, dancers, magicians, these are all types of entertainer, but the specific one I'm looking at is musicians. So there are five main characteristics. The first one being the ability to perform to a high level in their chosen instrument or voice. Secondly, they have the ability to engage with an audience. Thirdly, they are innovative and creative to keep their acts fresh and appealing. Coming in at number 4, they are versatile and have the ability to adapt their performance depending on their audience. And in 5th place, of course, showmanship. They have charisma, charm, humor. So this idea came to me after having made the last few videos on this channel. I've been checking out guys like Glenn Campbell, Roy Clark, Jerry Reed, Chet Atkins, and these guys are what I'm talking about when I'm talking about entertainers. These guys have an innate ability, an unquestionable ability on their instrument. They can also sing. They can also hold a decent tune and sing a great song. And they have the kind of charisma and charm that just doesn't seem to exist anymore. Whether it was Glenn Campbell casually walking around the stage whilst absolutely destroying the William Tell Overture on a 12-string guitar, or Roy Clark cracking jokes before using a microphone to play Folsom Prison Blues, or even Jerry Reed's cheeky grin while sitting spread-legged in his socks playing and singing a song he wrote in a matter of minutes. And of course, Chet Atkins with his dry one-liners halfway through a song in which he sings beautifully and also plays the most delicate and smooth-sounding guitar licks you'll ever hear. These were entertainers, and they hark back to a time that just doesn't exist anymore. So who else is there? My list only goes back to about the 1950s, 1960s. I'm well aware there's probably a myriad of entertainers before that who I have no idea about. I'm also aware that I've chosen only the mainstream entertainers, and of course you guys will know better than me. I don't have that much experience in this. I'm just going off the back of these last few videos that have really opened my mind. But other notable mentions, of course, Johnny Cash, the legendary storyteller with a dark and dry sense of humor. Frank Sinatra, with his smooth baritone voice, all the while an expert of timing and humor who could really engage audiences across America. Elvis Presley, the king of rock and roll, with a versatile voice and a magnetic stage presence which caught the eye of millions of girls around the world. Moving into the 70s and the 80s, we see entertainers like Elton John, Freddie Mercury, Bruce Springsteen, and even Michael Jackson, all with an incomparable voice, expert in songwriting, whilst also being able to captivate millions of people around the world, from the smallest of clubs to the largest of stadiums, with humour, charisma, and an unmatched confidence. So where did all the entertainers go? Well, truth be told, the inevitable passing of time took most of them from us, and those who are left continue to entertain millions of people across the globe. So is the idea of an entertainer becoming extinct? Well, when I was looking for entertainers from the 90s and 2000s, I did struggle to find any. Of course, there were the megastars such as Madonna, Celine Dion, Mariah Carey, and of course the frontmen of these huge bands like Metallica, Oasis, and Nirvana, all unquestionably great at what they do. But do they have the same kind of charisma and charm? I don't think so. So what happened? Well, that's a good question, and I don't have a definite answer to that. And of course, you guys will have your own opinions and ideas, which I'd love to hear, so just drop them in the comments when you do. But one thing that has changed is people and culture. Most mainstream music was fun, it was upbeat, it was mostly happy. However, movements like punk, metal, and grunge came along, which completely changed this idea. They were a counterculture to the popular music scene. Basically, instead of happy and fun, they now wanted a dark, edgier, and oftentimes angrier music. It was no longer cool to be an entertainer. So did television have a part to play in this? Well, I think it did. In 1981, MTV began, and this changed the landscape forever. Basically, a live performance wasn't needed anymore. What was needed now was a cool, catchy video to go alongside a studio-recorded version of the song. Of course, there were still live performances on television. You know, the late-night TV shows continue now to this day to have live music every week. But something has changed. And of course, in more recent years, the social media revolution has completely altered even the way we listen to music, let alone live music. People are now more interested in a 10-second clip or maybe 30 seconds of a song rather than a complete package or a complete performance. And I'm not even going to go down the AI road. Not yet, anyway. So, who are the current day entertainers? Are there any? My search began with the modern day guitar virtuosos. Jim Henson, Matteo Mancuso, or Marcin. All undoubtedly amazing at playing guitar and taking the idea of playing guitar in wild and new directions. But can they entertain a crowd in the same way that Roy Clark or Glenn Campbell did? I don't think they can. And that makes complete sense because they grew up on the internet. They didn't see their audience. They only saw them in the comments. So they didn't have to amuse, engage, or feedback off of the audience in the same way as all these legends did back in the 1960s and 1970s. So then I moved on to the country musicians of our time. As for sure, traditional country music and folk music, these were the best storytellers, the funniest guys, the comedians. So let's see. Morgan Wallen, Zach Bryan, Chris Stapleton, Luke Combs, all extremely good at what they do. Great songs, great voices, but none of them are these traditional style entertainers. What about the mainstream musicians? Taylor Swift, Billie Eilish, or even Ariana Grande. Whilst they may be able to bring millions of people onto their tour, I don't think they have that same entertainment factor. In fact, sometimes they don't even sing. So, are there any entertainers left? Well, I think there are a few. One person that springs to mind is Tommy Emmanuel. Clearly a genius on the guitar. Innovative, but also engaging and charismatic with his audience. If you watch any live video of a concert or a longer performance, you'll see him constantly talking, chatting, bringing the audience into the performance with him. I'm sure a lot of people will be saying Brad Paisley's name. Clearly a great guitarist, a wonderful singer, and also a funny and amusing guy on stage. Adele. I mean, if we're talking about mainstream acts, Adele is one of the greatest entertainers there is at the moment. You don't get a Las Vegas residency without being pretty good at what you do. Of course, an unbelievable singer, a voice like no other, the ability to write her own songs. And also, if you watch any of her live performances from Las Vegas, you'll see she wanders around the crowd, she says hi to people, she talks to them, has little chats, cracks jokes, and has stories to go along the way. Maybe Ed Sheeran. Not my cup of tea, really, but I know for sure he's got a very high standard of ability at writing a song, performing a song. He can do loops on the song. He's got a whole package there, and he for sure is a storyteller on stage. He chats on stage, he cracks jokes. He might have the whole package. So in conclusion, I think the real problem is the record labels. They don't want a traditional entertainer anymore. They don't need someone that's funny or amusing. They need someone that is edgy, shareable, and that attracts a younger audience. Marketability is the most important factor at the moment. Humor and charisma, they just aren't necessary anymore. But there are entertainers out there. They are probably out there right now, playing in a bar or in a club to maybe 100 or so like-minded people, honing their musical gift and learning how to engage an audience. They're out there in the folk clubs or in the small communities of America, playing to 50 people or to no one, or to just practicing on a Saturday night in a local village hall. Not for money, not for fame, but purely for the enjoyment of playing music. I'm not even sure what I'm trying to say with this video. Maybe we don't need entertainers anymore. Maybe this traditional, funny, very good at what they do kind of act is not required. Or maybe, just maybe, in this confusing and divided world, that's exactly what we need. Guys, let me know what you think in the comments, and I'll see you in the next video.